This is Felicia Marie with Women of the Wild. We are here with Hannah Weigold from Michigan. Hannah, how are you doing?
Great. How are you tonight?
I'm doing well.
So basically, I was still pretty fresh to the Women of the Wild group. I joined and found it back in August of 2022. So I ended up going out on a couple trips, and this was the big one for me. So growing up in West Michigan, it's pretty flat. It's a little hilly, nice and cold pretty much for most of the year. So it was a big step for me to come to the decision to do it, but you got to take your chances when you get them. In Springfield, Missouri, at the Wonders of Wildlife Museum. So I had never seen mountains before.
Yeah, and on that drive in, we saw pronghorn and
yes.
javelina. So we definitely got to see wildlife even before approaching into where our campsite was.
And on the way in, and even in our campsite, we had the free range cattle, horses. So it was pretty neat just to see how unique it was out there. But we had set up a nice range. We had it at about 350 yards from where we were shooting. So we popped off some shots and made sure we were sighted in and comfortable.
But to stop and look back at how far you've came is a pretty exciting feeling and a very accomplished feeling that I just did that.
Tucked in there, the sand was cool, the rocks were cool. All of us fit in there. We got to hydrate, snack, use our little fans that we had gotten at the store with the mist. And it was just such a relief. And so out of the corner of my eye and my peripheral, I see movement. So I slowly turn my head just enough to get good full vision. And there is an ewe, I want to say about 15, 20 yards away, coming up out of that dip. And when I tell you there were 40 to 55 sheep in that herd, like a wave, my jaw just hits the floor. This ram was ginormous. He stood out. So in that moment, I just said, okay, steady, took my breath in, let my breath out slowly, and pulled the trigger, sitting there worried, oh, did I miss? And I kind of had that drop in excitement and adrenaline. He was ginormous.
To see the terrain that we are slipping and sliding and these rocks are giving away, for those animals to move through a mountainside like that as agile and as quickly as they do is quite impressive.
Before the trip, I had never even known they existed.
For us to make that accomplishment, make it together as a team, for you to be pregnant, that's kind of an awesome thing all in itself, to be the first female to take an Aoudad in that mountain range.
You can find me on Instagram. My tag is _redfox98_. And I do have a Facebook page that I created recently as well called Hannah Weigold Outdoors. And I'm just kind of growing that and posting on there, but I will hopefully be having more content posted more frequently